Hello, wonderful people. Wherever you are on the earth plane, the highest in me bows to the highest in you. Welcome back to Soul Guidance with Deepthi. Today, we are here for our final quarter activation. We've been holding space for a lot of things throughout the month, and this final week is the week just before we wrap up the previous week energies and we prepare ourselves for creating the new. So, this is a very liminal space, and there is a lot of abundance, there's a lot of power, there's some subtle profoundness to the in between stages that allows us to complete a previous cycle, empty ourselves, and then create space for the new that is likely to come. And what we are doing week on week, we are actually creating a very intentional space to actually work with all aspects of our psyche and keep purifying the defilements of our mind, thereby moving from the lower rungs of our ego mind to the higher rungs of our spiritual mind. And when we say that we use the wisdom of the tarot to connect with the archetypes and to align with the spirit, it means that the symbolism represented in these cards is actually symbolic of the various angles of our mind. And when we work with that, that really helps us to actually connect with the truer version of ourselves, the more purer or more divine version of ourselves. So, scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, which is a spiritual text, it's actually a scientific text to introduce yourself to your true self, your inner self, and your inner self is spirit. So, week on week, when we are actually making time to connect with the energies of the archetypes and we are going inside, then we are coming to a place of deeper alignment. And when we really create from that place of deeper connection, whatever we create in our physical realities is more purposeful and more fulfilling. I just had somebody connect with me past week and mention that one of the previous activations that we'd done, which was centered around anchoring and grounding, how simply tuning into these videos week on week is creating space for greater alignment. Just by simply connecting with that video, they were able to experience a little shift in their relationship with their daughter and with their mother as well. Thus, there was such a profound grounding that actually occurred in their space. And they shared more of it in the personal tarot reading that we'd done for them. Thus, all you have to do is you have to surrender to these guidances. And when you just simply connect, coming from that place of purity within your heart, you will really be able to reap the benefits of these guidances. These are activations. So, whether you are aware or not, these are going to make changes at a subconscious level for you, and your reality will keep altering. And all you have to do is keep taking these little steps of surrender every week, moment to moment surrender. And when these little steps are stringed together, they actually make a leap of transition. They will actually show you what a magnanimous shift you've been able to go through. So, we've been doing all of these activations for easily more than half a year now. And we plan to continue for at least another few months. So, while this is on and we are holding a collective space, let's try and make the most of it. Thank you so much for being here week after week and holding space for the guidance to come through. So I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale a lot of love, exhaling more love out, dropping into your heart center, your intelligence, the heart intelligence. And let us connect with spirit to show us what the energy is for this final quarter activation. What is going to be the purpose, or what is going to be the gift, what is going to be the inspiration, what is going to be our ally? Spirit, please show us what is for our highest and best. So, the message that we have for the week is this coming week, we are supposed to pay a little more attention to our voice, our medium of self expression. So, if going through this week, we can be cognizant of areas in our life where we've been silently suffering, where we've been experiencing things but actually not taking the time to get them out of our system, are the ones which are coming up to the surface for us to be healed. So, this intense cycle of purge that we've seen that's coming up and that's likely to stay towards the end of the year, that particular purge this week, a lot of emotional upheavals that you've been experiencing this particular past week, they've been coming up because there are places where in the past you have perhaps chosen not to share your most authentic self, your true self. And when we say that, it does not mean that we shouldn't feel hurt or we shouldn't feel angry. These are just emotions, and we don't have to go through them from a place of denial. Rather, we have to be all encompassing and accepting of these emotions and be authentic about sharing these emotions with people around us. So, if there is something that hurts you, can you choose to share that hurt by saying, this is how this is landing on me, rather than coming from a place of blame, or rather than coming from a place of self criticism. So it's important that this particular week we really pay attention on what are the areas where we can be a little more authentic in expressing what's going on for us. I'm also being shown that this week is going to be very potent for us to actually bring into creation our intentions. So, since this is a powerful portal, whatever thoughts that we've been having that we need to bring forward in our life, they are in a quantum field, they are in one dimension of energy, and you are hoping and expecting for them to manifest as the physical realm in another dimension of reality. So it's going to be important that we find a connector between that realm and the physical realm, the reality that you're expecting the manifestation to occur. So for that, your sound energy, your sound vibrations are a very potent channel of manifestation for that matter. So when you speak, as we speak, we are creating, and that is why our words are called spells. They're called spellings because as we speak, we are creating a reality. So, can we be a little more cognizant of what is it that we are speaking, even if it is while having conversations with our closed ones when we are venting? Can we have more responsible venting conversations where we take responsibility of our experiences and then bring in that intentional energy to be able to transmute that lower energy and bring the intention of a higher vibration emotion for that matter? Because emotions are energy in motion. Every emotion brings some intelligence for you to work with in this particular reel. Your sound, your voice is a very powerful tool to actually bring into existence whatever is up here and deep within your heart. That is the alignment that keeps happening, and thus our physical reality keeps getting formed from moment to moment. So it's going to be important that even if you are struggling, can you be a little vocal about what are your challenges and then say out loud that I choose to release this energy of suffering, or I choose to release this energy blockage, and I invite my higher self to give me the guidance that is needed in the now moment. And if you can stay still, your higher self, your spirit is going to provide you some guidance. And if you can choose to work with that guidance in that now moment, you will be more aligned, you will be more purposeful, and thus you'll feel a little more joyous and content in how you are living the present moment. And if you keep doing this from moment to moment with awareness, you are soon going to make this a pattern of going through life with a lot of awareness rather than just simply suffering in silence. So, you see, what Spirit is trying to show us is that our voice is a very powerful mode of manifestation available to us to be able to create more of that aligns with us, and also to be able to release that no longer serves us for that matter. And especially the year and a half has been extremely challenging. There has been so much of emotional loss that we've seen, the loss of loved ones, the loss of workplaces, the sort of jobs you thought you wanted to do, the loss of some identities that you had in your head, some ideas of how you want life to be. And it is very natural for us to go through a very uh, sober grieving process if you are not the ones to be very expressive and be very vocal with your grieving process. But what Spirit is really showing us is that if you can really use the self expression, if speaking and voicing out is not your to do thing and you don't feel available to do it right away, how about with just journaling it out? Journaling is also a very powerful tool for self expression. So you bring out the energy that is disturbing you, that's keeping you out of alignment, that's keeping you in disharmony, and you pour it out from your the cells in your body, from your heart or your mind, and you just simply bring it out on paper, and you bring it out with the intention to just release it, so there is more space available to you. And when there is more space available to you within yourself, your consciousness will manifest in its truest form, the divine essence that you are really going to be. Thus, this is a potent time to cleanse and purge everything around those emotional losses that we've been going through for a while, because this is the closing of a cycle. It's the end of a cycle that we are really coming through, and it's more or less the biggest emotional cycle end. Emotions, especially your own relationship with yourself. I'm sure most of us are very transition versions of who we really were at the beginning of this year. However, the year has panned out, we see a marked shift within ourselves from what and who we were to who we are right now. And this is an ongoing process, because another 6 to 8 months down the line, you are still going to be a very more progressively transitioned version of yourself. But of course, if we do not go through it with consciousness and with awareness, these changes can be detrimental to ourselves and to others as well. So, what's really going to support us on this journey of change and this journey of not choosing to keep suffering in silence is some sort of a movement. So, Spirit is asking us to be really flexible. And by being flexible, we mean to say that create movement to let go of that energy and bring in more energy. So, movement could be in the form of singing, since we are talking about using the sound vibrations, using our voice as a portal. So, singing and just humming to yourself. You don't have to be a trained vocalist, you don't have to have uh, uh, a very good taste in classical music or any sort of music for that matter. Just keep humming, even if it is gibberish, whatever sound feels more natural and more authentic to you at that point in time, to just hum it out, do it. It's going to help you come into more alignment. And similarly, dancing, just moving, even if you think you are not very good with your dance moves, it's completely okay. You have to only keep moving your limbs so that whatever score your body has been keeping of the experiences of the past are now moving. And when there is movement, the old energy will move out and the new energy will have space to come in, because we cannot create as long as our containers are filled of energy of the past. So movement is going to be extremely critical. If you have a dedicated qigong practice, if you have a daily yoga practice, or if you have a practice where you do some a form of tai chi, all of these movement practices are going to be extremely critical. Uh, Pranayama is also a movement exercise. It's related to our breathing and our diaphragmatic movements, our belly movements for that matter, the movement of our lungs. So, and everything is connected to prana. So, a dedicated pranayam practice is also something that's going to help. And of course, your exercise practices of being on a walk or a jog, run, working out at a gym, or whatever stance possible, movement is extremely critical this coming week. And along with that, as we create that space, then we will see that we have more choices available to us. Because when you're going to let go of the past, your consciousness is going to shift, and from that place of awareness, then you will be able to identify options in your life and insights which were always available, but you couldn't focus on them because your container was already too full and too occupied to be able to move your focus in that particular direction. So, with that, we are going to see that there are going to be new choices which are going to start popping up in our life. And from those places of being able to make choices, we can make more informed decisions. We can make decisions which feel more aligned and which bring us harmony. Thus, this week, Spirit is showing us to use the power of our voice, get connected with the vibration of our sound, and through that, also keep flexing ourselves, create flexibility to be able to let go of the old energy and create space for the new energy. I really want to thank you for choosing to connect with this guidance, for holding space for this activation. If you feel there are people who could really add to the energy of this activation and who could benefit from these guidances, please feel free to share this in your network. And if you feel aligned and called for to dwell in some parts of your life and go deeper with the wisdom of the archetypes, trying to connect with your own true self, your inner voice, or the spirit, you're most welcome to reach out to me. I'm wishing all of us a magnificent week of self expression. Let's choose to be the wonderful human beings that we always and already are. Namaste.